I made a gym bag, so I just need to do a drop-in lining on this. It's the first time doing that. But I just need to put a zipper pocket on the lining, so I'm going to do that today. Angled a little better. All the pieces are cut according to the pattern here, so we'll just be working with that. Okay. This thing on. Oh, yeah. That makes no sense. I was just reading the pattern. I'm just gonna have to wing it. It did not make any sense to me. All right, what are we working with here? What are they telling me to do? 9. All right, I can dig that. The stuff that I'm using is called duck canvas. I got it at Joann's, but it's pretty sturdy. I'm kind of digging it. It's my first time using this. How far down do we want it? This pattern is unclear. So anyway, let's just do our own thing. Where we'll start. Far away from that. I gotta use this. All right, so we'll need it here. Approximately in the middle. Okay, that'll help. Noise. Is that right? Don't look even. Easy math and do that. It don't look right. Like I said, the pattern's unclear, so I'm gonna do whatever I want here. It's a 1/2 inch rectangle. It's down 1.5 inches, in 1.5 inches. It's not exactly what the pattern tells me to do, but like I said, the pattern said to, on the outside of the bag, put a zipper going up and down. And then it's like, do the same for your lining, but like have it go like the normal way. So it really doesn't go through the steps again of putting this in. But if you've done these before, you can kind of like figure it out, I guess. So anyway, and then I draw a line in the middle because that's going to be my cutting line later, but I'm going to stitch this fabric to my main lining fabric at the top and then cut it open and then flip this. And then that way it'll make a clean edge. So I'll do that right now. It's a 21 wide. Sorry, I changed the shape of this slightly when I was making it. So I'm gonna look wide, 21 wide. Okay. All right. So this is my width. Right side. You can make a little V snip out of here so that you can know where the middle is. It's the inside, it won't be seen. You can put a pen mark if you'd like. All right, and I'm just gonna drop these sides down. Since this is 1.5, wait. Since this is 1.5, okay, repeat the step and sew the lining pocket. This one will be a normal pocket. It's 3 inches down. Okay. And zipper straight. I'm just gonna give that a quick heat press here. Okay. Middle's lined up. There we go. Ease of reach. I'm going to put this down too, so it'll be about 1/2 inch down from the pattern. There we go. Okay. Let me turn my light on back here. I have a baby zipper foot on here. I leave it on most of the time when I'm making bags. It just helps to see everything. Oops, I shortened that a little bit. And then I'm going to sew on those outer lines that I made. I'm going to back stitch top and bottom. I have a thread cutter on this, so I just let it do its thing with that. If I have a straggler, I cut those so they're not in the way at the end. Worst thing is cutting all the strings off your project at the end. It's very annoying. I'm going to go down both outer long lines. And then if I'm trying to avoid something, I'll just like try to hold the fabric back. It works good enough. I'm going to get that straggler. All right, so that's sewn on top and bottom. You can do these edges too, like go make a box around this. But when I flip it, if I put it here, it gets real puckery and strange right here. So that seems to alleviate the problem a little bit for me. So I leave this open, and when I press it, it just stays there, because then I'm going to come through, and once this is flipped, I'll sew the zipper on, and then that'll lock everything in. All right, let's give that a trim. Oops. Where did I put my seam ripper? Anyway, I won't use that. Can't find it. All right, just do a little small snip into both pocket and lining fabric. Reopen, and you're going to cut down that middle line that you drew. I don't know if you can see my little snip there, but it's crooked. Anyway, it's fine. And then just go in and clip along the fabric. I have a little stopping point here. It's probably says just over a 1/4 inch away from that line that I drew, and I'm going to snip out to the corner right there. Okay. Some people like that a little longer. It does. I don't see it making a difference for me, so I leave it, you know, whatever, between a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch. And then what you want to do is right on the corner where you sewed, you're going to snip out into a V up to the stitching. Very super close. As close as you can get without cutting any threads. If you can see that. I just gotta say, this fabric is super easy to work with. I like it. Stiff. Stays where you want it. Okay. Both sides have that little snippy doodle out of it. Very straight seam. All right. And you're going to take this and you're going to poke it through the hole that you made. Okay. So fold in, all the way in. Pull this all the way through. And then on the right sides of your fabric, you'll see the little opening forming. Okay, there's your stitch line. Keep pulling it through. And then I like to press under with my finger and then just get that seam like right up to where you need it. Okay. On the bag, when I do the zipper, can you see that? I let the lining poke out a little bit just as a decorative accent. The lining is red fabric, and then the zipper, then the lining is showing a little bit, and then the fabric. But you don't have to do that. You can do it so that just the fabric is showing. but that looks so cool that I left it. So you do what you want. It's not going to hurt it. It's not going to make it not work. All right, and then I'm going to press these, and when I press, I like to make it super straight, okay? Now, if you look at how this is open, it's super flat. There's no crinkles or anything around that on both sides. It looks really good. So I noticed that if I don't sew that right there when I'm first doing it, then I don't get those weird puckers because it'll look like it's folded here. And then you have to fight that when you iron it or go back in and snip it closer. Snipping does a lot for it, okay? So let me just poke these out and then we'll give it a quick iron. I just use this all the time with no steam. If I want steam, I just spray water on it, on the fabric, not. I'll spray the iron. All right. Iron on the inside and the outside here. Like them super straight, so I keep working at the ironing until the hole looks straight. Sometimes it'll kind of like bow out, so I keep working at it until it's much straighter when you're doing the ironing. I think it just, attention to detail. It takes a little minute. I notice this fabric is incredibly stiff for something like that. So. And I give it a good go. This is my water. I put a little drop of Febreze in there just so that it's a little bit more pleasant than just ironing water. But yeah, that's why it makes bubbles. All right, since it's steamed, it looks a little bit discolored, but you can see that the zipper hole is very straight. Or can you? I don't know. There we go. So you just take your time and iron it so that this outer or the longest piece doesn't look like it's bowing out, and then you'll have a good looking zipper. I'm just gonna move my stuff out of the way here. My little zipper. And then with this, I don't do anything special. I'll open it a little bit just because I want these to be cut off when I'm in there. That looks good. And then I keep this, what do you call it? The pull. I should have checked that, yeah. So what I do is I just make it so that this metal thing just barely misses my lining there, because then when I come through, I'm going to trim that and then I don't have to worry about those. But the zipper will stay closed once you sew it. So I like to have the, what do you call this? The pull up as close as it can be to the fabric, and that'll help me line it up when I'm doing it. Okay. And I just pick a side and I sew it. Let's do it over here. I don't like that. I'm just going to give it one more little blast here. It's touching my needle. It's going over. This knee lifter thing will lift your presser foot so high. Okay, and then I take a moment to make sure that everything looks good and lined up. And I just start sewing at one edge. And then I do a top stitch. Tuck it under there. Let's go a little bit bigger. And I just make sure that my zipper track, I'll hold it as I go. So you don't have to pin this, tape it, nothing. You just hold it. And then when you stitch down, it'll grab onto your zipper, and then you just keep it even as you go. You want to make sure that you're getting nylon zippers, then you can sew right over the top of these without any problem. The only time I had a problem is I melted one and I sewed too close to it, and that hit that melted piece, which was too big, and I broke my needle doing that. So just do all of your sewing first, and then you can go ahead and make sure that your zipper's not going to fray. I'll show you that in a second once we're done here. Okay, and then I don't end it here, I just keep going. Okay, so I'm gonna turn. Since we're just top stitching, I'm gonna kill this thread here just because I'm gonna sew over that in a sec. All right, and then we're gonna do all sides. I line up the fabric with the edge of my tiny little foot. And I'm gonna go back over the zipper just to secure it a little bit better. It's gonna have a lot of stressors on it right there, so I'm gonna curl this up so it's out of my way. I don't want you to come crashing down. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Since it's secure, you don't have to worry too much about it being misaligned because it'll line up for you right now, okay? You just sew around the box, very easy. I should move this down a little bit. I just need a little jump stitch to get me to the end, so I just shorten my stitch length and then move it back. But you know, I'm sure you've done that on your machine before, so do it how you like it. All right, and then this one, my zipper is just touching this, so it'll like so the how do I say this? The opening up really tight so that you don't see a gap there. So this little foot has been a lifesaver for this process. And I'm just gonna go back on that one again because that's the opening of my zipper. And I always leave a few a little gap here so I can turn and then just finish off going this way. I need a tiny stitch. Then we'll go back. Very nice. Now you can do these in matching thread colors, but the black looks pretty nice on this one. And then the zipper opens, got enough room, works really good. The edges are tacked down. So now that this is just extra, what I like to do is sew it into the lining, and then once this is caught again, so it'll be sewn twice, then I'll clip it, and then I just melt that edge just a little bit, just so it doesn't fray. And then to close up your pocket, I already pressed this. Anyway, you want half of it to go up like this. And then you just want these to meet, and then you're going to sew around the open edges, okay? They do this with drop-in linings. If you were doing it the other way, this part would be open and you'd turn your bag out through this, okay? So either way, drop-in linings, like I said, I've never done before. So we'll try it this time and report back, I guess. I hear they're pretty awful. All right, so with your fabric, lay your top lining up, and then you're going to flip it over so that the bottom part peeks out, and then you're going to sew that closed. Pattern says 1/4 inch. I just do somewhere, I don't know, no bigger than 1/2 inch. And it all works out. It's all good. Do what you want. I think I want a smaller stitch on that though. And then over these zipper teeth, I'm going to go again so that it locks them into place and I don't have to worry about them being harmed. More. Okay. And then keep your needle down and turn. And I just flip this. Okay, and then I just go straight down the line again. Okay, it's not the most perfect, but whatever. So I got that to 1/4 inch is fine. And then we're just going to go back down this side of the zipper, and then we're going to just stitch right when we go over those teeth. Just for a little bit more security here, and then we're going to finish. And then right at the end, I'm going to slightly stitch off the edge, and then I'm going to back stitch. So if you look, I stitched around just the lining to sew the two halves together, okay? So that's how you add a pocket with a perfect zipper. It looks so good. Anyway, this is what the back looks like. So you just sew around in a box. And then I take the one more step and just get rid of these little dangly bits here. Grab some fire. Don't use your good scissors to cut a zipper just in case. And I'll snip it off at about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch poking out there. Just make sure that you get these little metal bits off, and then you'll not have to worry about them anymore. You don't need them. They're just there to annoy you. And I just hold this up. And then the flame just, you can see it crinkling up. And that's all that you need. Doesn't make a big flame, flash, none of that. It's just very easy to kind of melt that. It's against my black t-shirt. Just melts it. Oops, that one did make a flame. Oh well. That little gap we're not going to worry about because that's where my that's where my zipper pull ended. But everything looks good. I crinkled the fabric. But anyway, it's in there nice and smooth. Zips perfectly. And then I'm going to complete this and then put it in my new gym bag that I made. Can you see that okay? I haven't put handles on it yet, but I have a little pocket here that I put on. The pattern didn't have this. It's just glitter vinyl. I made a double glitter vinyl and fabric strap. And then on this side, it's got the cool zipper going this way. So nice and roomy in there. This pattern is the Dallas, so I did a little tweaks like on mine. I made this the right size, but then on the pattern, like this is the medium, and then I made the sides the large because I wanted a larger space without having a longer bag. So I just modified the pattern to do that, and I also modified the pattern to break up this part here because on the pattern it has you do a full half of fabric and then another full half of fabric, but I wanted my strap holders to go all the way down like this. And if you do this with vinyl, it makes a weird bump down here. So what I did is I just modified the pattern. I had to re-sew this because I sewed it too short, so it wasn't going to fit the sides. So after that, after I got that figured out, which didn't take very long, then I top stitched on this to secure it and make it lay flat. Because on other people's patterns that have done this, when they made it and it had the bottom part being the two pieces of fabric, these bumped in a weird way. Because they touched each other on each side and there wasn't that little bit of give. And then just because the way that it was folded. So I just took that bottom piece and cut my fabric so that these would lay better. And it worked out really good. Can you see that? It's kind of large. Like I didn't think it was going to be this big, but no, it's good. It'll be good for all the stuff that I need for my gym stuff, including my shoes. So that's it. I'm trying to make my own handmade little tags too, but I don't know. It looks kind of doofy, but I'm still working on that. But it's cute. It's all right. Anyway, this will go inside and I'll have one pocket. I could maybe do two, do one on the other side or do some slip pockets, but I just want to throw my stuff in there and take it and go, you know. So I think this one zipper will work out really good so I don't lose my keys or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks. And